From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
This episode of News 8 Daily 8 is presented by Downtown Indy.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, December 8th. A better day Tuesday weather-wise. Cold start in the low 30s, but sunshine will creep into the forecast today, and it's going to have a warming effect this afternoon. Our highs will top out in the low to mid 40s. As of this morning, COVID-19 vaccines are being administered in the United Kingdom, and we've learned a little bit about the first person to get one. Margaret Keenan lives in England. She says she feels privileged to be the first in line. Keenan turns 91 next week, and she calls this the best early birthday present. She says she's looking forward to spending time with her family since she's been alone most of the year. Public Health England officials are asking everyone to be patient. Only those who are most at risk for COVID-19 will be vaccinated in the early stages. Most people will have to wait until next year before there are enough shots to expand the program. And a vaccine summit is being held at the White House today. That's when President Trump will sign an executive order prioritizing the distribution of a COVID-19 vaccine in the United States. Here's John Lawrence reporting.
President Trump is expected to sign an executive order that prioritizes the shipment of the COVID-19 vaccine to Americans ahead of other nations, says senior administration officials who spoke to CNN. This comes as health experts say a post-Thanksgiving surge is starting to blanket the country.
We're going to see increases in hospitalizations, and hospitals are already on the brink. So where is the reserve capacity? Where are patients going to be going at this point?
According to the New York Times, after initially purchasing 100 million doses of the vaccines, the Trump administration turned down an offer from drug maker Pfizer to buy more doses of the vaccine in late summer.
The good news is that there are more in the pipeline, and we also have other means in place whereby the U.S. can potentially procure additional doses, including from international cooperatives that exist for this very reason.
Administration officials deny the Times' story, which reported the decision to not buy additional doses from Pfizer might mean the U.S. won't be able to get more doses from them until June because of the company's commitments to other countries.
We've always known that in the initial couple months, the supply would be quite limited. And so we are going to really have to figure out how best to prioritize the limited number of doses for the maximum impact.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And we're all watching to see if the FDA grants emergency use authorization to Pfizer. If that happens, doses of the vaccine could be here in the next couple of weeks. The Indiana State Health Department plans to distribute the vaccine in stages. First responders are among those who will get it first. Indianapolis EMS is Indiana's largest emergency medical provider. Its workers are slated to be the first of the first responders to be offered the vaccine. It will not be required. Here's Indy's EMS chief, Dan O'Donnell.
I fully believe in this vaccine. I plan on receiving this vaccine. But we realize there are plenty of individuals who still have, they're still trying to figure out if this is something that is safe for them. And they have some concerns due to the quick nature of how this vaccine came about. So we thought it was prudent within the IEMS leadership that we not require this vaccine because of those reservations. We wanted to honor them.
O'Donnell assures News 8 that strict safety protocols like protective equipment will continue. IMPD says the department's been talking about vaccine distribution. A spokesperson says the department is in frequent contact with state and local public health agencies. The Indianapolis Fire Department will discuss vaccine requirements with health officials. And now an answer to a pressing vaccination question. Can an employer force you to get the COVID-19 vaccine? Companies will soon have to make decisions about their policies. The short answer is yes, they can force you, but they can require the vaccine. But the bigger question is, will they? And that answer is a little bit more complicated. News 8's Angelique Hockaday has reported on this on Daybreak today. She spoke to Amy Adelaide. She's a partner at the law firm Krieg DeVault here in Indianapolis. Adelaide says that some companies have expressed worry that they may lose employees or that requiring the vaccine will affect company morale. But Adelaide also says there's already been more employer rights given this is a pandemic. Unlike other vaccines like the flu, the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has said COVID-19 is a direct threat. That's why employers have been able to ask questions about symptoms and mandate testing. Now requiring the vaccine can be challenged. Adelaide says employees can ask for religious accommodations, for example. Those accommodations could include working from home, or can that employee work in an area that's isolated from others?
It's going to come down to each employer looking at its industry, deciding, what are the threats to our customers, our patients, our employees, and then deciding, what do we want our policy to be, regardless of what the law might say we can do or can't do in terms of mandatory vaccinations, but what do we want our policy to be for our employees?
Adelaide says rights of all employees need to be considered in policies, including those who do get vaccinated. She also said that she expects we'll hear more from the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission in the coming weeks on its position on requiring the vaccine. Okay, last week, you may have seen a story on Daybreak, maybe you found it on wishtv.com, about some neighbors who are very upset that a new property owner in their area clear-cut about 6 acres of woods. This is near Eagle Creek. This morning, the Indiana Forest Alliance is calling on stricter policies to make it harder for something like this to happen again. News 8 got an email from the Alliance last night. It read that the group wants stronger public strategies and ordinances to protect urban forests critical to Marion County's environmental future. Here's a little bit more of the backstory here. The trees were cut down last month. It's near the 7400 block of West 34th Street after the property was acquired by a new private owner. That area is now bare. Neighbors and the Homeowners Association say they are stunned. So News 8 checked the city's website, and the land is HOA registered with Indianapolis for that address. However, landowners do not pay any fees to the HOA. The HOA president said he should have been notified of a proposal before any work was done. News 8 also checked with the Indianapolis Department of Metropolitan Development. They said they were not notified of any plans to develop the property, and while they might have approved the action, no permits were ever requested. Neighbors say by the time a stop order citing a failure to obtain a drainage permit was put in place, the trees were already gone. We reached out to the landowner, and his attorney refused to talk on camera, but a letter from his attorney said he is willing to comply with valid legal obligations, and it remains unclear from the city if he had to obtain a permit for tree removal. Indiana Forest Alliance says the loss of trees points to the importance of their new project, which determines what urban forests are crucial. A new report will rank Indy's most environmentally significant woods. That will lead to community and neighborhood meetings to figure out how to preserve high-value areas. Indiana Forest Alliance Urban Policy Director Jerome Delbridge says, "We need community input and partnerships with residents and city leaders. Together, we will develop best approaches to keep forests working for Indianapolis." The new report will be released within a month. A big concern for the city is the potential loss of heritage trees, which are certain breeds of trees that are more than 18 inches width at chest height and can't be cut down without permission. For every heritage tree removed, the city requires 8 more to be planted in its place. It's not clear if any were removed in this process. The city said it will now evaluate the property. A resolution calling for a Back the Blue mural in Indianapolis is being sent to the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee. The City County Council was up for a vote last night. Instead, it will be discussed in committee tomorrow night. The resolution will now be considered again by the full council as early as next month. It's a Republican initiative to show support for police. The mural would be near the FOP headquarters on Shelby Street, just south of Fountain Square. Councilors are making changes to the city's official holidays. The changes impact city and county employees. A proposal adopted last night replaces Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day and adds President's Day and Juneteenth. The plan adds half days for Thanksgiving Eve, the day before Christmas Eve, and New Year's Eve. Workers no longer get Good Friday off. The proposal also places 2 new limits. The first is on the amount of time that can be carried over from year to year, and the second is on payouts for accrued time off when employment ends. President-elect Joe Biden is ready to name another nominee. Biden will nominate retired 4-star Army General Lloyd J. Austin to be Secretary of Defense. If confirmed by the Senate, Austin would be the first Black Pentagon chief. Austin retired from the Army in 2016, which means he would require a congressional waiver to take the job. Family members of Breonna Taylor joined the governor of Virginia as he signs a statewide ban on the use of no-knock warrants. 2 of Taylor's aunts were on hand yesterday. The law is named after Taylor. Louisville, Kentucky police shot her to death in March during a raid at her home. Virginia's measure is called Breonna's Law. It's the first such law enacted by a state since Taylor was killed. The law prohibits police from going into a home without first announcing themselves. A grand jury indicted one of the Louisville officers involved for wanton endangerment, but handed down no charges for Taylor's death. Punishments are likely to be handed down today when the Army Secretary unveils the results of an independent review of leadership at Fort Hood. Military officials are hoping to correct a command culture they believe failed to address systemic leadership failures. Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy will take administrative actions that will remove soldiers from their jobs and likely trigger investigations that could lead to a wide range of punishments, from a simple letter of reprimand to a military discharge. The probe was initiated after the murder of 20-year-old soldier Vanessa Guillen. Investigators say before her death, Guillen was about to file a harassment complaint against specialist Aaron Robinson. Authorities say Robinson killed Guillen, dismembered her body in an armory room, then buried her. Police say Robinson killed himself when they confronted him. And this morning, we've learned that World War II flying ace Chuck Yeager has died at the age of 97. Yeager was the first pilot to break the sound barrier. His wife made the announcement on his Twitter account. NASA's administrator called the death a tremendous loss to our nation. Yeager became a fighter pilot in World War II and shot down 13 German planes. He was shot down over German-held France, but escaped with the help of the French resistance. Indy 500 fans may remember him driving the pace car twice in the 1980s. A new initiative hopes to make Indianapolis the safest city in the country to live, work, and play for people on the autism spectrum. It's called the Indy Autism Project. Indianapolis City County Councilor Allie Brown is spearheading the project. She got the idea from Mesa, Arizona, which is the first ever autism-certified city in the United States.
That highlights all these amazing things that somebody on the spectrum can do, and spaces that are made for them, whether it's sensory locations or places that have gone through training. So hotel and hospitality workers know what's going on, and they can work with nonverbal people or come to special requests that somebody on the spectrum may have.
Brown says Indianapolis already has many autism-friendly places, and she wants to make it easier for people to find them. Volunteers are in short supply at Gleaners, and Gleaners is asking for your help. The organization's preparing for the holidays, of course, and there are more than 200 shifts available right now through the end of December. Those are for Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Gleaners says it's serving 4 times the number of households than before the pandemic. We've posted all this information for you at wishtv.com if you'd like to volunteer. Okay, now to breaking. It is the dance formerly known as break dancing. It's going to be an Olympic event starting in 2024. This is so cool. The International Olympic Committee Executive Board announced yesterday that breaking will debut in Paris. It'll be the first dance sport ever at the Olympics. Organizers are hoping it attracts a younger audience. The committee says skateboarding, sport climbing, and surfing also will debut in 2024. Those were in the works for the Tokyo Games that were postponed due to the pandemic. Indianapolis Motor Speedway is saying a fond farewell to the man who truly knows the track and its traditions better than anybody. Donald Davidson will retire at the end of the year. He is the official Speedway historian and one of the most beloved figures in racing. Davidson made the announcement yesterday saying he's been contemplating this for 3 or 4 years and just wants to quietly step aside.
I lived the dream. There was some sad times with all of it, but I was just living the dream and had this ability to memorize stuff, which is kind of a mystery because I was terrible at schoolwork, but I seem to be able to do. I was able to memorize 500 facts.
IMS owner Roger Penske describes Davidson as one of the greatest storytellers racing has ever seen. Davidson's final day as Indianapolis Motor Speedway historian will be December 31st. A big congratulations to him and well wishes. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This episode of News 8 Daily 8 is presented by Downtown Indy.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.